Hello everybody, welcome back to the Black and White Gaming channel. It's your boy, Johnny Bagodonuts. How's it going? And yes, we're here again for another edition of the First Four, which is where I play the first 4 hours of a video game and give you the good and bad and ugly take on it. Today's game is Earth Defense Force 5, and for those who aren't aware, it's quite obviously the 5th installment of the Earth Defense Force franchise, which is a third-person shooter series where you get to defend the Earth from, really large monsters, many of them being insects and arachnoids. And it doesn't really take itself too seriously, and it more prides itself on being a fun cooperative shooter, whether it be online or couch co-op. And I do feel like it is important to note that it is only a digital exclusive for PlayStation 4. So, if you don't have a PlayStation 4, well, sorry, not going to be able to play this. But yeah, let's just get right down into it.
This is it. I'm opening the gate now.
Now, this is a budget title, so graphics aren't really at the forefront and everything, but with that being said, this is the best the game has ever looked. The key focus is obviously killing giant bugs, and it is as enjoyable as it's ever been, and the developer's Sandlot has nailed it. Killing bugs is awesome and fun, and really that's the reason why you're getting this game.
They should be all evacuated by now.
The weapons in the game look and feel super powered. The fighting is frantic and chaotic, really just classic B-movie carnage, and it's a ton of fun. The monster designs so far have been a real treat. They hit that balance of creativity and terror. It's also really cool that they've added in the new element of destructible carcasses. P.S. The giant frogs, best new monster added. They're super creepy, powerful, and they come at you when they have lost limbs. Pretty much my nightmare. Now, the missions feature a more focused storyline, which is a nice change of pace from the earlier games, where they just simply placed you in as a soldier. In this game, you're a security guard who gets pulled into the EDF when Earth is invaded. And even though it's a sequel, the game reboots the story because, hey, an initial invasion is obviously much more entertaining than the 5th one. I did like the 4 classes that you could choose from. You have your ranger, who's a typical foot soldier. You have a wing diver, which is they're equipped with a jetpack and can fly around the battlefield. You have an air raider, which is engineering tech support role character. And then you have the fencer, which is basically just a walking tank. I tended to gravitate towards the ranger, but each class is fun to play and offers unique playstyles. A new dash mechanic has been added to the entry, and it is a godsend, especially if you're playing as the ranger. This now means you can sprint to your destination, which greatly cuts down the travel time. The sprinting, or dashing in other classes, creates a fairly large ring around the character's feet, and any health, armor, or weapon pickups that come into contact with the ring are automatically picked up, which cuts down on the time wasted chasing after these. A very, very welcome change. That's not to say that it's without its flaws. The camera zooms in on the player's feet, a la Gears of War style. However, your character remains center screen, so it's tough to get a decent view of your surroundings while using it. And the sprint for the ranger also requires the thumbsticks to be held down, which just felt kind of awkward when sprinting for long intervals. I understand this is a little bit of a nitpick, but the toggle option would have been nice. But, the benefits outweigh the negatives, so I have to put it in the good. There is so much variety to be unlocked, be it weapons or vehicles, and you may only stick with the ones you liked, and some are just laughable, but the different offerings are awesome to have. Upgraded versions of your current weapons can be found in the field, which is a first in the series, and the wing diver's rapier is just plain badass.
Are crowding at EDF headquarters, and it's chaotic on the scene.
Not bad. Guess now you won't get it.
Now, I'm all for the focused story, but that also means we have some narrative portions, which for this game it means following the leader for an unspecified amount of time. There's no way to speed this up or to even skip the scene. You simply just have to follow a certain character until they lead you to the next event and trigger the mission. Now, while it wasn't that bad the first time around, I can foresee this being something that gets really annoying when grinding missions for gear in the future.
The elevator is this way.
The difficulty curve is surprisingly steep and sometimes uneven. The first few missions are naturally an introduction to the controls and the chaos, but by mission 6, the difficulty ramps up and certain enemies can easily overwhelm you, even if you're playing with your friends in a co-op session. And I'm not against difficulty, but there are a ton of missions in this game, so they definitely could have introduced the difficulty gradually throughout. Set locations are going to get familiar fast. There are more than 100 missions in the game, which, don't get me wrong, that's great for the longevity, but the scenery will get old before the halfway point guaranteed.
There's still that many?
Drill.
Maybe something did happen.
It really just comes down to one thing. Just one stupid, horrible design choice that blew my mind as to why they even put it in there, which I am dubbing, quote, the story camera. During certain missions, in the middle of gameplay, the camera will just rip control from your hands and place your focus on something the game wants you to pay attention to. And the movement's not only jarring, you can still take damage and be engaged by monsters. Now, I understand, they want you to turn your eyes towards something, but a simple cutscene would suffice, or even the option to view it, similar in the Gears of War games. It's just something I don't know why they put it in there, and it really bugged me.
It's too difficult to destroy the large flying saucer.
And that's going to do it for this edition of the First 4. Earth Defense Force 5. It's definitely the best entry in the series to date. And, you know what you're looking for when you get into this game. And they're providing it. They know exactly what they're doing. I mean, if you want an enjoyable, low-budget shooter that you can just kind of turn your brain off and play, you don't have to worry about any mundane, depressed space marines, this is your ticket to true sci-fi B-movie bliss. I recommend it. Go have some fun. Play with your friends. It's a great time. But as always, thank you for coming to the channel. It's your boy, Johnny Bagodonuts. Thanks for dropping by. We'll catch you on the flippy floppy.